My name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor in Soutcentral Alaska, and my mission is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your families by coaching you in real estate. And the purpose of today's video is to talk about the top things that I actually do not like/hate about Alaska summers. There's a lot of great things about Alaskan summers, but it's never 100% good or bad either way. So I'm going to be going over the top things that I don't like about the Alaska summers. Before we get started though, make sure you give this video a like. If you haven't done so already, do make sure you subscribe down below. And as always, if you have any questions, make sure to put those in the comment section. Now without further ado, let's jump into the top things that I hate about Alaska summers. Number one is, this is kind of a pro Anaconda at the same time, and I'll explain why, but it is pretty much bright all the time, especially in Soutcentral Alaska. So this is, the reason I put this as a con is because it can be difficult to sleep. When you have sunlight out 24/7, then you're, at least my brain anyway, is just constantly going, it is time to go, do. Let's keep going and doing stuff. As Alaskans, we can kind of run into trouble every now and then where it's like midnight and people are setting out for a barbecue just because they don't realize how late it is because it's so bright outside. So that's can be kind of a bad thing. But on the other hand, it also is really nice if you're busy during the summer, because suddenly if you're wanting to go hike during the day, you're busy till about 6, 7 o'clock at night. Well, guess what? You can still go hike, okay? So it's a lot easier. I actually went and ran Crow's Pass with a friend just a little bit ago. It's a local trail around here through the mountains from one town to the other. It's about 23 miles. It's a great story. Ask me about it later. But we started around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, finished right around midnight. And we were able to do that just because it was light outside almost till midnight. Well, probably beyond that. Honestly, you get to midnight, it's just kind of a dusky hue to it, not really dark. So that's number one. The sun is out there all the time. Number two, again, this is gonna kind of sound like a pro and a con, but there are too many activities to actually go and do. So these are going to be outdoor activities. We're not talking about going to the opera or something really metropolitan, but if you're looking for outdoor activities, I mean, there is hunting and fishing in all its different shades and hues. You've got paddle boarding, you've got river rafting, you've got paragliding, you've got you've got music festivals outside, you've got hiking, you've got running, you've got rock climbing, you've got, believe it or not, surfing. That's a thing you can do up here too. And you've got a ton of races and a ton of trails and a lot of lakes. You can go boating, kayaking, canoeing. There's just all sorts of activities that you can do up here. So that's great because you're never going to be short of options, but it can also be exhausting if you kind of feel the pressure of, okay, we've got 3, 4, sometimes 5 months of good weather to go and do stuff. We need to go do as much as we can, and it can be a little exhausting and a little overwhelming. So yeah, I kind of put that in a pro and a con column all at the same time. Now, number 3 of the cons that I have living up here in Alaska in the summertime is, I mentioned before, you've got about 3, sometimes upwards of 5 months worth of good weather to do stuff up here, which means a lot of our road work is going to be condensed into that time frame, which means we don't have a whole lot of roads up here, which means you're probably going to be stuck in traffic sometimes when you're trying to go places just because there's a lot of road work. So I don't like that we've got a couple of months and we're going to spend any amount of time waiting in the car for road work to be done. I don't really like that very much, and there aren't a whole lot of road options. So that one's definitely going into the pro column. No real silver lining on that one, sorry. Let's take a quick break real quick. Did you know that I actually run a podcast in addition to the Alaska Realtor YouTube channel? Well, if you haven't gone and checked it out already, do go check it out down below. I've got a recent episode with somebody who's kind of living off grid, moving in that direction, and talking about the steps and how he got there. So do make sure you go check that out. And without further ado, let's go and finish today's video. Now, the fourth thing that I do not like about Alaskan summers is just that everybody's trying to get everywhere in a hurry. It's kind of the energy of the state during the summertime that everyone's just going all the time. And it's something that really kind of just gets into your soul after a while. So when you're on the roads, it is going to feel like Mad Max every now and then, trying to just get down the road. I'll be going, puttering along at 65, 70, and someone just goes blasting by at 90. And I know for a lot of people that's not that unusual, but keep in mind, we don't have as many roads. One of these knuckleheads get into a wreck, and we're all going to be paying for it and having to sit back and wait in traffic. So, yeah, that's definitely a con. We don't have, everyone's in a big rush on the roads. And number 5, this one, again, related to the roads. But there's not a whole lot of roads, which means if you really like going on road trips, Alaska may or may not be a good spot for you. I mean, was used to doing road trips all the way from like Oregon to Texas to Oregon. That was the kind of road trip I was used to growing up. There's not a whole lot of road options up here in Alaska. You can get to the big places just by driving, but by and large, it's going to be not a whole lot of roads up here. Matter of fact, every time we try to put in a road up here, just the basic stuff to connect communities and improve quality of life, it turns into a big knockdown, drag-out fight on the Senate floor because everyone's got their finger in the pot as to what Alaska should be doing. And quite frankly, it's annoying. It's our state. Let us decide how to actually take care of our people, for crying out loud. So, different soapbox, different issue. I'm sure we can talk about that at another time. But yes, not a whole lot of roads, and it doesn't make for very good road trips. Now, this next one is something that may or may not be a big issue to you, but that is there's really no AC in most of the houses up here. So this might sound horrible if you're like from Texas and AC is just kind of a state right down there and it's kind of a way of life. But up here, the highest it's going to get during the summertime, it might get up to 90 maybe for a couple of days, but that's going to be the hottest that it gets. But when you're used to, kind of the cold Alaskan winters where it's going to be, obviously colder than that, drop below negative in Soutcentral Alaska for a couple weeks out of the year, then, not having AC when it's about 80 or so degrees, it's going to start to feel a little uncomfortable. I mean, it's not particularly uncommon outside the United States. Europe, there's really no AC in the individual houses, at least the ones that I was in. So, yeah, that's definitely one of them. It can get a little warm during the summertime if you're used to the cold Alaska winters. And finally, the very last thing I would add on here is if you have any kind of projects that's going to require a contractor or a handyman, let's say you're working on your house or your property, then it's going to be really tough to get them in there to take care of it during the summertime. The window, again, is so short to get stuff done that it can be a real challenge to get onto their schedule because there's kind of a shortage for kind of that tradesman craft skill set up here. And we're constantly looking for it. It is an expanding state, so those skills are going to always be in high demand. But it can be a little hard getting on their schedule during the summertime because everyone's trying to do all the stuff that they can't do any other time of the year except during the summertime. So that is my list of the top things that I do not like about Alaska during the summertime. Overall, you can't complain. Most of these cons can have a pro element to them also, so not too bad, all things considered. If this was useful, do make sure you give this video a like. If you'd like to reach out to me directly with any specific questions, do make sure that you do so through my Facebook page. Link for that is going to be in the description section down below. I have some people who do try to reach out and email me. I do my best to get to those, but I've got about over 13,000 unanswered emails just because I'm a realtor and I get so many of those each day. So give yourself a fighting chance and message me through my Facebook. That's going to be the best way to get there. But I sure hope this has been useful, and we'll see you next time.